Welcome to Destiny 2. With the recent move from Blizzard Activision to a free-to-play game on Steam, the new player experience for Destiny 2 has changed a bit, and it can be very overwhelming when you first load in and see everything in front of you. The game has been out for several years now, and much of this content was originally digested sequentially, so to have it all open and available from the start can feel very confusing. Bungie put the game in a place where brand new players could pretty much hop in and do anything, without too much of a grind barrier forcing you to spend months of time to unlock content or worry about your level or gear. On top of that, the first two DLCs are included with the base game, Curse of Osiris and Warmind, as well as significant content from the next two DLCs, Forsaken and Shadowkeep. Those last two DLCs are still paid content, so the planets and areas that are part of those content releases are still accessible to you before purchasing, but you won't be able to complete some of the more advanced activities and earn some of the loot from them. When you first start up Destiny, you'll go through character creation, so let's quickly go over the different classes available and a basic rundown of the character screen. Destiny has three main classes you can play as: Titan, Warlock, and Hunter. Relative to other MMOs and RPGs, the overall theme of these classes are the same. Titans focus on melee and tanky defense, Warlocks focus on space magic and basically being Palpatine, and Hunters focus on burst damage with bows, revolvers, and throwing knives. Most of the time, these roles aren't as specifically necessary as other MMOs, so play whatever sounds cool to you and you'll always be useful. Within each class, there are also three subclasses that you can change at any time and are fully available to you from the start. These subclasses are based on the three energy types in the game: Arc Energy based on electricity, Solar Energy based on fire, and Void Energy based on dark purple space magic. For each main class, these three subclasses will provide variations of your player abilities, including Grenade, Melee, and your Super. I won't go into detail in this video, but you can right-click on each subclass to test and explore all of the various options for each. Now let's look at weapons and armor. Your character will have three weapon types available, which generally can be switched at any time, with the exception of more difficult endgame content where your inventory is locked for the duration of the activity. Destiny follows the typical FPS weapon structure, but nothing is tied to certain classes, so try different weapons and see what fits your playstyle. Your first weapon slot is your kinetic weapon that has no energy type attached to it and does great damage against non-shielded enemies. Your second slot is your energy weapon, and as you guessed, will have an energy type attached to it, either Arc, Solar, or Void, and will do extra damage against shielded enemies of the same type. Certain enemies in the game will have a glowing shield around them corresponding to one of the three energy types. With the exception of certain endgame activities, any weapon will damage shields, but using the same energy type weapon will be much more efficient and also cause an explosion once the shield breaks, damaging nearby enemies in the process. This is more of a bonus effect, so don't worry about switching your weapons around to match mid-battle. And finally, your third slot is your power weapon. These are the heavy hitters like rocket launchers, grenade launchers, machine guns, etc. This slot specifically uses heavy ammo, which will be in purple boxes. Primary ammo is in white boxes and will be used for most of your non-power weapons, with the exception of the stronger ones like sniper rifles and fusion rifles. These take special ammo, which are in green boxes. Armor is on the right side of the character screen and provides various perks and buffs depending upon which class you are and what armor modifications you have equipped. I'm not going to go in depth in this video, but the important thing to look at for armor is the stat numbers. You can mouse over each stat to see a description of how it affects your character, and then decide what you want your armor set to focus on as you collect loot and decide what to keep. Lastly is your light level. In short, this is your overall character level and is based on an average of all of your highest level loot in your inventory, whether it is equipped or not. The higher this number gets, the higher level loot will be on the ground that you will pick up, and this will continue until you hit level 900. Basically, your light level multiplies the damage output you have and the defense level of your armor. When the game released, everyone started at 0, but over the years, as the player base got stronger and new and more difficult activities were added, this level was raised. Now everyone starts at 750 as the baseline and goes up from there. Keep in mind, once you start gaining purple or gold loot, the light level can be raised by something called infusion, where you spend a reagent and a higher level same slot item to raise the level of the lower one. So if you find a weapon or armor with perks that you really like, don't feel like you have to get rid of it because the light level is low. You'll be able to raise it to stay in line with your overall level. In other words, a weapon isn't better than another one just because the level is higher. For weapons, it's all about perks, and for armor, it's all about the stats. Once your overall level hits 900, you'll have to focus on doing bounties and weekly challenges to earn higher level loot, so let's take a look at the quest screen. Much like any other MMO, as you talk to NPCs and complete activities, you will gain quests that will show here on the left side. You will start the game with some introductory quests that will introduce you to different areas and activities, so make sure to follow those if you're not sure where to start. If you're someone who is into the story and likes to complete campaigns, Destiny 2 has moved the campaign quests to the NPC named Amanda Holiday, located at the tower here. Because you are no longer required to complete the campaign to move on to other activities, you'll need to pick these quest lines manually from her if you want to go through them. There are 3, one for the base game and one for each of the 2 DLCs, Curse of Osiris and Warmind. You'll still earn level appropriate loot and level up your character doing the campaigns, so don't worry about them being a waste of time. You'll also get a great sci-fi story if you're into that and immerse yourself more into the game. On the right side of the quest screen will be your bounties. These are shorter, either daily or weekly challenges that you also pick up from the various NPCs for a low cost of in-game currency known as Glimmer, and they will grant you bonus XP and loot. Keep in mind your quests and bounties share a common limit, so if you grab everything from everyone, you'll quickly be full and not be able to hold more quests. The easiest thing to do is decide what you want to spend your time on in that play session. Go to the NPC associated with that activity, grab their bounties, and have at it. You can always reacquire quests if you abandon them, and you don't have to worry about having all of the available bounties at all times. Speaking of activities, let's look at the map and go over all of the different things you can do in Destiny 2. On the destination screen, there are various planets that you can fast travel to and do a number of different activities. Each planet has its own main NPC associated with it, with unique loot. The open worlds are alive and teeming with enemies. The only safe zone is the tower, which is the home base filled with vendors not tied to specific planets. Within each planet, you will see public events, which are mini activities that spawn randomly around the map and can be completed by whoever is nearby at the time and wants to participate. There are also lost sectors, denoted by this symbol, which are another mini activity with a boss at the end and a chest of loot as reward. There are many other adventures and quests that will pop up on various planets, so just mouse over them to see what they are as you explore the solar system. The bottom 3 circles on the destination page are playlist activities and consist of Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible. Strikes are single-serving, repeatable campaign missions that you complete with 2 other players and range from low-level easy content to extremely difficult endgame content. Most of these have matchmaking, but some of the higher-level activities do not, and you'll need to form your own team before starting. Gambit is a unique PvEVP game mode where essentially 2 teams of 4 race to complete their own PvE instance before the other team, while having the ability to invade the other team's instance and slow them down. Crucible is the full-on PvP area of Destiny 2 with many different game modes and ranked or non-ranked playlists. Any of these 3 activities, Strikes, Gambit, or Crucible, will help you level up and earn you new loot, so don't feel like you need to only do planetary activities first. And with Gambit and Crucible, you still gain XP and loot even if you lose. So really, you can play Destiny 2 however you want. I'll end with a few other things to note that aren't immediately obvious to new players. When exploring around open worlds, press tab to bring out your robot sidekick called a Ghost, then press and hold E to hop on your Sparrow. This is your mount that will let you get around much quicker. When traveling around the open world, you can have up to 2 friends with you in your fire team. Specific activities like raids or Crucible allow a team of 6. On the quest screen, you can click on 3 different quests to track them, and they will show on your screen when you press tab to pull out your Ghost. This makes it easy to keep track of how many more kills you need for that bounty, or where the next waypoint is in your quest. The UI has a lot of information with a lot of windows, so let's try to clear this up. In the lower left, you will see your abilities, weapons, and your super meter. Your abilities all have various cooldown timers, so when they are colored in, they are ready to use. Your health bar will appear at the top of the screen when it isn't full, and when you hear a loud glass shatter sound, your shield has broken and you are very close to death. Any temporary buff or debuff effects you happen to pick up will also show up on the lower left of the screen. That should be enough to get you started, so load up, choose something that sounds fun to you, and just start playing. It will all start to make more sense the more you play. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, hop in the Discord, or find me on Twitch weeknights at 10 p.m. Pacific. Hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.